Oh boy, this movie was disappointing. Look, I'm not just saying things just for the sake of being popular. I want to like this movie, and people are saying it's good, and some people are saying it's bad, and I agree with the people saying it's bad. It's really cliche, predictable. It's kind of like a cliche kids movie, but it's worse because it just has the Scooby-Doo name on it, which kind of just ruins the legacy. And it is really cliche and repetitive, and I know the original TV series was like that. Yeah, but it has some sort of charm, and the characters weren't so stupid, and they actually did things, unlike everyone except the main characters in the movie, because like Fred, Velma, and Daphne, they were all useless characters. One of them, I guess, was, Velma was kind of smart, but that's really it. Daphne had this kind of like, there's like this cutesy robot that was probably made to sell toys or whatever, that helped her out. And then Fred just, I don't know, was in love with this van or something. They had no characters, and they were just bland people that just made jokes that sometimes hit, but also sometimes really didn't, and it was really cringy. Just like when the Blue Falcon, I believe, dabbed, which was, safe to say I cringe a lot, and Simon Cowell's in the movie. And then Scooby and Shaggy sing The Shallows for a little bit, and that was cringe. So some of the jokes landed, some didn't, and I guess that was the only good thing that came out of those three characters were some jokes that landed, but everything else was about them was super boring. They had no character traits. All they did was just walk around, and they were barely in the movie. I get that the movie's called Scoob, and focuses on Scooby and I guess Shaggy, but the other characters should, okay, maybe if they only had 30 minutes of screen time, make their characters better. They were just there to progress the plot forward, and one of them, they dastardly kind of stole the way he looks, and it was super duper obvious that that he actually did that, and instead it wasn't actually the character that he was impersonating, and it was super duper obvious, and I was like, geez, can your writing get any worse? And it was just really weird. And the jokes, again, that I said that are cringy, really took me on the experience and made me I didn't want to watch the rest of the movie almost. Another thing with the characters, even if they were bad, I could excuse that if the voice acting was good, which it wasn't. They clearly just hired a bunch of trending celebrities instead of actually good voice actors, and they got the original dude for Scooby-Doo, but they recasted everyone else, which was really weird, and I don't understand that, and it was so confusing, and their voices just didn't sound at all like the originals. Maybe Shaggy a little bit, but Fred? No, not at all. Velma? No. Daphne? No. And you don't even really hear anything from them. They're kind of just there. Or even if they're saying something, you forget what they say because it's so forgettable. But yeah, the voice acting, I mean, even if it's really good, why did they recast them? Why? Their voices are so unique. The voices that they have now sound so different. They just sound like people impersonating them. I was half expecting Dick Dastardly, the villain to take off is like Daphne masking me like it was me the whole time, or like I was pretending to be her the whole time, because they didn't sound anything like the actual characters, or again act like them, because they were just boring, like one-dimensional characters. And Scooby and Shaggy, even when they do have some emotional moments, I guess it's just ruined by one of them having to sacrifice himself. But then it's like, oh no, he's back. It's like, okay. So there were really no moments, and if they were either really cliche and predictable, and it was like the predictable story beats that weren't anything new. If you're gonna do those, juggle it up or mix it up so it's like a little different and it feels like fresh, I guess, or just do it better and get rid of those cringy jokes and make Velma, Daphne, and Fred actually do what they do. Fred doesn't do any traps. Daphne doesn't do anything. Neither does Velma. I mean, she kind of helps a little bit, figures out something, but that's really it. One thing. It was like, oh, it's Dick Dastardly as the villain, but that's really it. She doesn't really do that much, or even if she does, it's kind of forgettable. Because the movie, in general, is very forgettable. It, hits those three-act structures, and it's like, oh, Scooby and Shaggy break up because of a problem, and they don't like each other, and then they come back 10 minutes later because of a bigger problem. It's really predictable and really dumb. Oh, I didn't even talk about the villain that much. He wasn't much better. His motivation to make a portal to the underworld was just because he lost his dog that he didn't even really like. I guess it was kind of a funny joke. He was like, oh, I told him not to go home. But he was like, in the flashback, it was clearly showing him, forcing him to go on. So that was kind of funny. But there wasn't really much of a good setup for it. And the character wasn't very interesting. There were some funny jokes, but that's really it. Most of the time, he didn't do anything except pretend to be another character or just be annoying and abusive to his robots, which are also really stupid and try to be like cutesy, I guess, to be like BB-8 or the Pores or whatever. But it kind of worked, not really. It was kind of like, what do you call it? Really obvious that they were just trying to sell toys. But the characters sucked. The animation was actually pretty good. It wasn't anything special. Sometimes it really looked cliched or just not cliche. Sometimes it looked really weird, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of weird. And it's just generally really predictable. Some of the jokes landed. One of them was about Tinder, and it was kind of funny. And then I believe one of them was like about selfies, and that was like the Blue Falcon's character, who turns out, spoilers, to not actually be the original Blue Falcon, but his son. And he's just so stupid, and the only reason the plot goes forward is because of him and like Fred's stupid decisions. Because both of them, they both make really stupid decisions. They're just so mind-numbingly retarded that it's like, I'm sorry, what? How do you actually have more than one brain cell? Or zero? Because you have no idea what you're doing. I get that he's not that smart and he just tries to be like his father. But at least make him smart sometimes. Or something like that. He's never smart. He's an idiotic, bumbling buffoon that has no idea what he's doing. And it's just really annoying. And sometimes it'll be acceptable if he did a couple times, but he barely really learns his lesson, and that's just at the very end. There's no subtle hints or him doing something good once or twice sprinkled in between. He's just an idiot for the entire runtime of the movie. And that's generally it. It's kind of predictable and cliched. The animation was good. Some of the jokes landed, but the characters really sucked. Scooby was pretty cool, but then again, his character wasn't really built upon that much in the movie, although I did like the beginning where it showed like the backstory of him and Shaggy, and also the three others. But there was also kind of a problem in that opening. By the way, do I recommend you watch this movie? Kind of, but it's also pretty bad. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.